Paolo Di Canio branded his keeper Wes Fondringham the worst professional he has ever worked with after Swindon lost 4-1 at Preston. Goalkeeper Fondringham was substituted after only 21 minutes at Deepdale with his side trailing 2-0 before a heated confrontation with his manager in the tunnel. Fondringham was replaced by 18-year-old Lee Bedwell. Di Canio did not hold back in condemning the actions of his goalkeeper, insisting that if he does not publicly apologise, his time at the club could well be at an end. He was one of the worst players I have ever seen, said Di Canio. He's another player like the others. Why can't we change the goalkeeper? Because the goalkeeper has a different coloured shirt. I know Wes. He was the worst player against Stoke in the cup. He was far away the worst player. He made a rubbish performance. But I covered for him because we won 4-3. But what he did was not the only mistake, which can happen to anyone, but the arrogance when he started moaning to the other players, that was the worst thing for me. A player that doesn't recognise his mistakes, which were clear from miles away, he stated, moaning to his teammates. Out there, he behaved as the worst professional, arrogant, ignorant athlete. The worst professional, arrogant, ignorant athlete I have ever seen, and if he doesn't come out and apologise to the fans, to the professionals in general, he is out from my team. Now, you know what? One thing I do want to ask is this. First and foremost, was Di Canio right to call out Wes Fondringham and pull him off after only 21 minutes? Pull him off the field, not pull him off in that way, you wrong'uns. But you know what? Because I'm going to throw this out. Gman Gezzie, I'm going to throw this out to you guys first, and then we'll throw it out to Facebook, Twitter, and also our Skypers as well. But you know what? I personally don't think that a manager should call out his players like that in public. I think you leave that sort of stuff behind closed doors. If you're not happy with your dudes, if you're not happy with your players, then you chew them out behind closed doors. No one's ever seen Alex Ferguson do the hairdryer on the pitch. He always does it behind closed doors. Well, he always used to do it behind closed doors. So, I don't know, man. Di Canio openly coming out and slating his players in public, I don't agree with it, to be perfectly frank. But some players need to be brought back down from the cloud, the high of arrogance that they're on. They need to stop riding that wave of arrogance. But maybe it's Di Canio taking back a bit of power for the managers, because player power's out of control. But I don't think you should do it in public. But Gman Gezzie, what do you reckon?
Well, I mean, at the same time, there's the other side of the coin, which is that I don't think that, his players should have acted the way that he did in public either. Do you see what I mean? There's a certain level of accountability that he has to have as a goalkeeper, and him balling out his defence when he's made individual errors really doesn't help. But at the same time, like you say, for Di Canio to go and lambast him the way that he did in public, there's obviously a breakdown between the two. And the other thing that we forget in this is the disagreement between the two of them as individuals. And obviously one of them is the boss, the other one is the employee. And at some point, and here's another obligatory wrestling reference, everybody. At some point, somebody needs to know their role and shut their mouth.
If you smell what Gezzie Fizzle, it's cooking.
Just because, Di Canio is the boss. And it's not the way that you want your goalkeeper to go and react to being substituted. And I agree with him. If your goalkeeper's not playing well, much like any other outfield player, listen, he should get the hook and be substituted as well.
G-Man, what do you reckon of this?
In terms of coming out and slagging off your players, personally, I wouldn't like it if it's done to me. So I don't think it's really and truthfully, I don't think a manager should actually be doing that to his players. I think it's probably I heard from Julian Ali over the weekend. He was explaining a story about what Glenn Hoddle done to Teddy Sheringham in terms of showing him up in front of his colleagues, and
when he was England manager.
So if another professional coach is saying that, it just makes you think that players are humans. You can't just slaughter them in front of their mates, because you're not just slaughtering them. You're slaughtering them in front of their mates, and then you're taking it to the extent you're slaughtering them nationally.
Yeah, in front of your mates. You know what? I could give less than a damn. If you deserve to be embarrassed in front of your mates, it's just like when you were a kid. If you did something wrong when you were a kid, did your mum and dad reprimand you in front of your mates?
Yeah.
There you go. I had that as well. It's one of them was, if you step out of line, ye shall be reprimanded. It's one of them was, whether it's in front of your mates or not. I was grateful for the fact that my mum didn't give a damn in regards to that. But but at the end of the day, I think it looks bad on the club if you're doing it in public. I think it just reflects badly on the club. If you do it in front of his colleagues, yeah, maybe that player needed to be brought down a peg.
Maybe,
that's my view.
Maybe, but I just think personally, I think it sends a negative sort of view out to the group.
Not really.
The group of players as a whole.
Well, it's the manager stamping their authority. What could be negative about that?
Yeah, they're stamping your authority. They're stamping your authority, but then there's actually taking the real Mickey with a person.
Well, you know what, Tom Wood, you wanted to have a view on this, didn't you? And then we'll come into Jamie Bailey as well.
Yeah, I think if instead of pulling them aside, I would fine them.
Yeah, no, that's fair dues.
Give them a week's wages, fine them a week's wages, and see how they feel then.
Yeah, fair dues. Jamie Bailey, what would you have done in that situation, considering you actually are a coach of young players, aren't you?
Yeah, I just got a question for you guys, and it's pretty much simple. No, 2 questions. All right, one what are most players and coaches judged upon?
Well, it's a results business, yeah.
Right. Okay. Has he been successful since he's joined Swindon Town? Has he been successful?
Yeah, he has. He won the league on a canter last year.
Okay. This is me as a coach. If his methods are still working, then it doesn't matter how it looks. It can still work. The manager's been put in place for them to get the best results out of their players, number one, and number two, to achieve the best results that they can. And for Paolo Di Canio to actually do what he has done, yes, it doesn't look correct, but if it's worked up until now, why bother change the situation? Like as most people say, if it's not working, you need to fix it. But as it looks, he's already won promotion. He's already won the League 2 trophy. It doesn't look like he's going to be relegated from League 1 either. So therefore, it still is working.
No, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right, there you go. So therefore, if anybody's got that opinion to say that it looks wrong, then question his methods, not his results.
Yeah, but to me, it's easy saying that. But at the end of the day, if a manager is bringing the club into disrepute or making the club look bad in a certain way because he's not handling situations in the right sort of way, it affects the club in the future. Because at the end of the day, won't future players who might think, I don't want to play for that guy, might not want to go to that club just because he's winning.
They already have.
Just because he's winning things don't necessarily mean it's a good omen for him to go around abusing his players in such a way. For instance, Di Canio
you're also missing a single point as well.
No, remember, Di Canio had that situation last season where he could have handled the situation between his player. When they had the fracas on the pitch.
Yeah.
And off the pitch as well.
And off the pitch, he could have handled that situation a lot better than he did. Yeah. He basically, for me, he's just tying a rope around his neck with all these little incidents that are happening, and eventually it's going to blow up in his face.